Dear Diamonds and fellow Diamonds in the room, we have a different type of video today that unfortunately we have to talk about. Now, of course, Genshin Impact 4.5 livestream dropped, and to no surprise, that patch is gonna be some ass, dog. And we will talk more about the aftermath of it all in the near future. But before I do that, I want to take off some shackles, put some things in the rearview mirror, and address the elephant in the room concerning this man right here. I know when it comes to the algorithm and the people that watch this channel like the coverage that I do for what's happening with Genshin Impact. However, I don't want to be known as Genshin hater guy. That's why I made different kinds of videos, as I would love to do other fun things, and hopefully you guys can enjoy those and have you guys join me in this journey. But I don't give a flying fuck about you. Nor should you, but
man can hope.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I value my street cred, and I was not going to address this at all. However,
now they parading around talking shit. Can't let that slide.
It's not what I want to talk about in this channel, but unfortunately,
there's some shit we gotta speak about.
I bullied a child. This is a response video to my video when I covered the news about Kabuki Ren being copyright struck by being mass reported. Who is Kabuki Ren, you may ask? Well, it's some dude that gave into the temptation of really catering to the lolly community for the sake of numbers. Now, his videos are pretty explicit, disgustingly so, where he goes about how breedable Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail child characters are. Now, obviously, morally speaking, this is wrong in many levels. I know there's a gray area when it comes to pubescent children, because depending on where you live, they can have the ability of consent at an age prior to 18, like the majority of the world. However, the one thing the whole globe can agree on is prepubescent children should not be sexualized in any shape or form.
Clearly! No debate!
Now, to counter that, they go, but it's just fiction. Indeed, there is a clear line between fiction and reality. However, kids are highly influenced by the media they consume and can play out the things they see, pretend to be a Super Saiyan, throw webs like Spider-Man, etc. And therein lies the issue. This type of content is in the second most visited site on the planet, YouTube. Like the young lady that we had on the video pointed out, kids lie about their age when it comes to YouTube. This has to be taken into consideration when tackling topics that involve children, because a kid can get the wrong idea on what is appropriate for a kid and what is not. We adults gotta protect kids from their own naivety. That's why we tell them not to go with strangers and be careful when someone is being too nice, etc. This type of content can create a terrible worldview for the kid that consumes it, especially when the kids involved are prepubescent. But they're 500 years old. Body type and the looks of a character are what ultimately matters in anime. Age is some bullshit in anime and cannot be taken into consideration when it comes to certain body types. Yes, you can ask for age when you have a petite/teenage looking character, sure. Some adults are petite. But in the end, you looking at the ultimate form of human innocence and you sexualizing it is just wrong. Why is everything becoming about sex nowadays? For fuck's sake.
What I'm saying is,
this content will always exist. Nothing can stop it from not existing. But can we please have it in sites that are made just for that and not in the second most visited site in the world, where it can have very negative impact? But there's no data saying that it does. Why wait for tragedy to happen when we can prevent it? This is morally wrong in many levels. No one told anyone not to do harm to their mother. We have clear instincts that tell us what is right and what is wrong. The human reflex when it comes to children is to nurture and protect. But you don't understand anime, grow. This is what being a true anime fan is. Anime is an amazing art form that allows stories and animations that cannot be done in cinema. I really like anime. I'm not a big time anime lover, but I really understand the appeal anime has. Now, to me personally, when someone is more passionate than me about something I like, I can't help but be envious of them. To have that much passion about something, get excited about those things, and have them shine a beautiful light in your life is something anybody would love to have. However, if me being a true anime lover is gonna mean this,
I'm cool right here.
If anything, this might make me want to distance myself from it if it's gonna mean I'm gonna be associated with this type of content. I'll just look at anime and go,
what kind of sick shit is this? What the fuck is this?
I value my street cred. So about me bullying a kid, because Kabuki happens to be 16 years old. That video was more so about the content itself than Kabuki. Besides the potential danger he's pushing, I have no problem with him. I checked out his other content and it seems alright, but obviously they're not as popular as the lolly he makes. So for the sake of analytics, he kept pushing that type of content, and now is trying to convert that lolly audience into a quote-unquote normal audience that can watch his other videos. And I totally understand that, as I myself am in a somewhat similar situation. When the analytics are down, when you're not getting as many subscribers and viewers as you once did, it can create a lot of panic and fear of falling off. I'm going through that right now. As a content creator that got serious about making content a month and a half ago, I can tell you this much. The high of when your content does good is fantastic, and it hurts a lot when the analytics aren't there and your videos don't do as well as the ones before them. When it's happening, it just sucks.
Like a prostitute.
Actually, that's the good kind of suck. Because the algorithm and by proxy people want to put you in a box where you're known for this one thing. Like a lot of you guys pointed out, you don't want me to be a Genshin drama channel. And guess what? Neither do I. It's why I decided to do other things rather than keep on chewing on the bones of something that I know can keep giving me the numbers, but is ultimately not my goal for starting this journey in the first place. I would love to try and cover a lot of topic for you guys. And I know the numbers aren't going to be there. And guess what? That's okay. What I want is not easy, but just like people that came before me showed me that it's possible, I will keep believing in that possibility and work harder than before to make it a reality. I would love for Kabuki to do the same, as I can see from his content that he doesn't want to be known as the lolly guy, as he got bullied in school and mass reported on YouTube after that was discovered about the guy. The cost for your numbers is way too high. I think your conversation when discussing topics are good. Clean it up, face your fears, like this man and all the other content creators. It's not a problem that's limited to just you.
You can do it. I have a riff in you.
Hopefully it's clear that we dislike the type of content and we want safety more than we care about the creators themselves. Now to the second part of the talk on the streets, which is me being a meat writer.
Let's talk about it.
I love podcasts, and me being in the biggest podcast of the gacha community was exciting as fuck. We talked about all kinds of topics, and through it I met amazing creators who gave good advice and opened the door for me in this content creator world, and met fantastic people that came to my streams, videos, and showed amazing supports after they recognized me through the podcast.
I appreciate you.
Now, literally the next day, I was on another podcast where the only topic was the Genshin boycott. And in that podcast, I referred to the fact that Tectone is the face of the whole Genshin boycott, whether we or he likes it or not. Bro left a huge mark, and the Chinese community proves this by using his and no one else's clips when showing their discontent about the situation of Genshin Impact. He may or may not have tried to make his concerns about Genshin a movement, just like how all he wanted was a staff of Homa, but ended up changing the weapon banner. Things can get blown out of proportion, especially when it comes to relevant and successful people. As a society, if not species, we seek leadership and to put a face on problems and solutions. Tectone is just an example of this fact. Now, people started calling me a meat writer for this take and pointing out his position in this whole Genshin boycott situation, which got me thinking, what is a meat writer? It feels like there's some form of meat writing meta where people throw the term at someone for simply agreeing with someone that they don't like. Let me give you an example. I think Tectone's takes about Genshin Impacts are accurate.
Get off that nigga dick, bro. What is you doing?
Whether we like it or not, Tectone was the catalyst for changing the weapon banner.
Bro, stop dick riding, bro. That's all you literally talk about.
You'll notice that even though there's nothing wrong with me having an opinion that aligns with Tectone, or me literally speaking about a fact that occurred, some people will throw the meat writer title in the screen.
Now here's the shit that fuck with me.
In the Gacha podcast, I looked more of a Mr. Pokey fanboy, making fun of the genuinely Mr. Pokey is known for. Why aren't I a Mr. Pokey meat writer then? I said Hex Juice makes amazing content. Why aren't I a Hex meat writer? Pushing a new meat. Touche, ass kissing then. Why isn't that a thing? Why is it that it has to be Tectone specifically? If we take out praise and fanboying out of the equation, the only thing left for what I can tell is you guys have a problem with him as a person and not what he has to say about things. To find out more about that here, as Hex Juice made an amazing video covering this very topic. I'd better see some Hex Juice and Mr. Pokey dick riding comments down in the comments, or else...
Just made my point.
Tectone is like the opposite of an anime main character. You know how the main character becomes friends with everybody? Yeah, Tectone is the total opposite. Like, bro is not doing any talks no jutsu. Like, he's...
What I'm saying is...
If me saying something that I believe is the right thing gonna make me look like I'm someone's bitch, all I can say to that is...
I'll be the bitch today.
Because I want to stand for what is morally right. But what about you yapping on the female podcast? Like a lot of you guys know, I have a pretty telling face. My face just snitches on what I'm feeling inside.
Not all the time.
But most of the time. And a lot of you guys called me out looking annoyed and not having a good time in the podcast. And all I can say to that is...
Bitch, you guessed it. You was right.
Alright, I want to be perfectly clear on what annoyed me, so...
Let me explain why.
The podcast took almost an hour of technical difficulties on the host's side. Respect is very important to me, because I give respect and I like to see some of it back. You don't have to match me as respect is to be earned, but I need to see some of it. That, plus the terrible audio quality of the podcast as a whole, made it feel unprofessional, disorganized, thrown together despite ample time for preparation. So to me, this was more of a hangout than a podcast, because you cannot expect me, a guest, to treat it as such when you, the host, are not. Podcasts are mainly carried by the host. That's just the nature of the thing. The host did a terrible job at being a host. And yes, I know. I should have just left. Trust me, I wanted to. But I didn't want Bro to look worse than he already was, so I stayed. A lot of you guys found issue with the tech tone part of it and me yapping. Which, like I said before on stream, I really didn't think it would make the cut. I'm not sure if during the podcast we said it should be edited out, but it should have been edited out on how chaotic that part is. BML claims tech tone shouldn't be as important to the whole movement of it all. The fact that you chose to put it as a video for how chaotic it is says a lot, but most importantly, you knew your people had an issue with what I said during the podcast. Yet you chose to post that video knowing very well how it would make me look like to your comment section. Now, of course, I may be a small content creator, but
I can handle.
and I stand by everything I said.
And you can tell them I said it, shit.
However, you could have at least asked me if it was okay to have your community coming after me.
Again.
That was not cool, bro. And I had your back before we even met. Ask how. And even more so when we became acquainted. But you couldn't even run it by me. Something you knew can cause me to look bad in front of your many people. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm obviously trying to be as good as possible while remaining critical when talking with content creators. Because I do hear about the shit some of them can do to further their cause. However, I'm getting acquainted with more and more good ones, and I'm really happy with that. I can't wait to build more on that and have, genuine friendships. People, content creators I can call friends. That'd be good.
What I'm saying is,
If things are to be expected of me, I'm gonna expect things back. Y'all wanted me to be a well-behaved guy like I was in the Gotcha cast. Should have just gotten basic stuff right. I like ordering conversations. Ask around if you want. Even my community, they're just viewers, right? They should matter. They're not even content creators or anything, right? There's nothing I can profit from them, right? Like we just hanging out. Oh, they should be so lucky I'm with them, right? Nah, it's just people, dude. Like I'm a person, everybody's a person. We're just hanging out. Respect goes both ways. If I respect you, I will respect you back. And ordering a conversation is important to me. I can ask my people if you want. They'll tell you how I do things. I will see you on the next one. Yeah.